I had always believed I was good at English. I could speak with my friends, understand simple movies, and read short books. So, when my teacher told us about the coming English exam, I wasn't too worried. I studied a little the night before. I reviewed some vocabulary and grammar rules. I thought it would be enough. On the day of the exam, I felt calm and confident. The exam had 3 parts: reading, writing, and listening. The reading part was longer than I expected. The writing section asked me to write a full paragraph about a topic. I didn't know what to write. The listening section went too fast. I missed half the answers. Still, I told myself, maybe I did okay. 1 week later, our teacher handed back the results. I opened mine and froze. Fail. I couldn't believe it. I had failed my first English exam. I felt embarrassed and confused. Why did I fail? What went wrong? That night, I stared at the paper. I had made many small mistakes. Wrong verb forms. Missing words. And unclear sentences. My vocabulary was simple. I realized something important. I had been overconfident and underprepared. At first, I felt sad. I didn't want to try again. I thought maybe I wasn't good at English after all. But then I remembered something my father once told me. Failure is not the end. It's just a step toward success. So, I made a decision. I was going to prepare better and take the next English exam in 3 months. This time, I wouldn't just hope I'd pass. I would work for it. I made a new study plan. Every day, I would spend 1 hour on English. I divided it into 3 parts. 20 minutes reading English articles. 20 minutes practicing grammar exercises. 20 minutes writing 1 paragraph. I also downloaded a free app to help with listening practice. Each night, I listened to short English stories with subtitles. At first, I needed the subtitles. but slowly. I started to understand more without them. I stopped being afraid of making mistakes. I began to learn from them. Little by little, I felt myself improving. This time, I didn't study randomly. I focused on the exam format. I asked my teacher what kind of questions would come. She explained. The reading part tests your ability to find information quickly. The writing part checks how clearly you can express ideas. The listening part checks how well you understand key points. I practiced with old exam papers. I timed myself to get used to answering questions fast. For writing, I asked my cousin, who is good at English, to check my paragraphs. She gave helpful feedback. She said, use more linking words like however, because, and although. It will make your writing smoother. I started using a notebook for new vocabulary. I didn't just memorize words. I wrote example sentences too. For example, instead of just learning the word disappointed, I wrote, I was disappointed when I failed my exam. I also joined an online English study group. We shared tips, practiced speaking, and supported each other. Each week, I felt more confident. I wasn't just studying English. I was understanding it. 3 months passed quickly. Soon, it was time to take the English exam again. This time, I felt nervous, but also prepared. I brought two pens, pencil, and a clear mind. The reading part felt easier. I used the trick I learned. Reading the questions first, then finding the answers in the text. The writing topic was, describe a time you learned something from failure. I smiled. I had the perfect story. The listening section still moved fast, but I understood more. I didn't panic. I stayed focused. When I walked out of the exam room, I didn't feel unsure like last time. I felt proud. I knew I had given it my best. 1 week later, the teacher returned the results. Pass. Not just a pass. One of the highest scores in class. Passing the exam was amazing. But more than that, I had learned something bigger. I learned that failure is not something to be ashamed of. It's a teacher. It shows us what we need to work on. It pushes us to become better. I also learned that real progress doesn't happen in one night. It takes daily effort. Smart strategies. And patience. Now, I help others in my class. When someone feels discouraged, I tell them, I failed once too. But I didn't give up. And neither should you. I still make mistakes in English. But I no longer fear them. I welcome them. Because they help me grow. So, if you failed an exam or made mistakes in English, remember, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of a better journey. If you choose to learn from it. Vocabulary highlights. Confident. Sure of yourself. Paragraph. A group of sentences about one idea. Overconfident. Too sure of yourself. Without enough reason. Underprepared. Not ready enough. Feedback. Helpful advice or comments. Subtitles. Written words that show what people are saying in a video. Disappointed. Feeling sad because something didn't happen as expected. Linking words. Words that connect ideas. Like, because, or, however. Discouraged. Feeling like you want to give up. Patience. The ability to wait or keep going without giving up.